Across the Flow FM network, a Flow News 24 update.
Well, on the Flow News 24 desk is Han Phillips, and we've got a interesting discussion today on the issue of workers jumping ship. Han, apparently 1 in 10 in the last year has jumped ship from where they've been working to go to another ship. Is the grass greener on the other side of the fence?
Look, I think people want to think it is. They want to be able to exit industries and move up in the world. And we see a lot of people in the last few years exiting hospitality. I think the year figures show that people are either moving up in hospitality roles to, maybe front of house or even, managing service, or leaving those industries altogether. But then you get to the nitty-gritty of this one here, Wayne, and you start looking at people who are maybe leaving their industries or not staying in their jobs. That whole thing about old John, he's been here for 20 years and he's been loyal to the company. That doesn't exist anymore, Wayne. People leave after about 5 years.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one, because hospitality shows that 1 in 5 people actually will switch jobs in hospitality. The average is 1 in 10 across all industries. And there is a question here about the nature of what people are moving for. And the Australian Bureau of Statistics say that job mobility figures put it that people will change their jobs. The ABS Head of Labour Statistics is Bjorn Jarvis. He said job mobility is the highest since the early 2010s, which is around that Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard era of when Federal Labor were in power back then. It seems that there's more people moving about in jobs. Now, the reasons are more likely to be that people are seeking higher pay. Now, that becomes the question, doesn't it, as to how long one can sustain higher pay, which is this inflationary problem. So the job mobility of people moving about could well be contributing to the increased inflation.
Yeah, look, it definitely could be. And when we talk about higher pay, when we start then going into those new IR laws, and those laws that could actually mean people won't get higher pay, that everyone's going to get paid for what they do. And they don't get paid any special amount for staying back like John would have 20 years ago and done that extra accounting sheet for his boss to make sure his boss had the right data. That doesn't happen anymore. You won't get paid anymore. The government, I guess, in a sense, wants to sort of lock this down with these award rates and sort of make it really hard for employers to even offer incentives to those who do work really hard and who are loyal to the company. It's sort of in a way becoming like you will have nothing, but you will be happy.
Well, one of the other factors is this whole issue of gender. And I think this becomes the reality. It seems that Federal Labor wants everything to be exactly equal, that we can't have incentive, that there isn't a place for somebody in a free market to go out and actually be successful and make something more of their life than the next person. I mean, isn't that the whole context of, we read about these people who are owning the assets, and all of these people saying, oh, well, that's 5% of people own all the houses in the big cities. They've just been lucky. And no, those people have invested, and they've gone out now. They've borrowed money to do it. They might have taken risks to do it. But the reality of all this, trying to narrow it down, say, a gender, the inequality of gender, that men get paid more than women do, and this constant barraging of somebody who has more, it's almost this politics of envy.
It definitely seems to be the politics of envy. You are right, Wayne. And, we look at the healthcare sectors that women end up in, like the nursing roles. Well, they've chosen to go into those roles, and those professions don't pay as much as a doctor or maybe someone who's an anesthesiologist. I guess people sort of say, well, I want to earn that kind of money. Well, then go into that profession. If you so choose to want to do that work, then go into that profession. But you will work hard. It's like people who go and buy houses, the top 5% of those who are going out and buying those homes, they've made sacrifices. They've chosen not to go eat takeout 3 times a week. They've chosen to put the money into buying houses, into buying real estate to ensure their future. Anyone can do whatever they like as long as they set their mind to it. But I do think when it comes to these gender pay gaps, this idea that there's a gender inequality, I think it's absolutely farcical. If you want to work hard, you can earn just as much as men if you're willing to go into your boss's office like men do and say, guess what, I want a pay increase. Just like the men do. Women don't do that as much as what men do. Hey, look, there might be some that do, but the reality is that women choose roles that are more on the service side of things. Now, if you want to be an engineer or you want to be a truck driver, have at it. It's up to you what you do with your life. It's not up to everyone else to pay your way to make you feel better.
Yeah, it's interesting because there is that 23.1% that have less in their nest egg by the time they retire. I mean, but these figures are being caught up, and at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of work that is going to be done. The more menial tasks and so forth are going to be done by both men and women, and at the same time, there's a lot of managerial work that's being done by both men and women. So I think the gender inequality argument of trying to get some utopia that everybody is equal is simply not giving people the opportunity to go out and make the most of their life.
A Flow News 24 update.